What's going on, everybody? Today in this video, I'm going to give you 4 different ways you can beat the tight market by targeting shadow inventory. Okay, so we all know that the market is tight right now. Inventory is down and listings are scarce. Agents are worried about how they're going to generate the same amount of business they had last year. And they're correct. There are less homes for sale. In fact, data is showing us that listings are down 22% over this time last year, and last year was already low. So where do we find this business? We have to work twice as hard as before to get the same amount of listings, but agents who are wise are working smart and not as hard. They're going after the shadow inventory. So what is shadow inventory? What does that mean? Well, here's the deal. For every home that is on the market, all of those sellers would admit that they were thinking about selling their home for months before they actually contacted an agent and put it on the market. So that's what I mean by shadow inventory. If a seller puts their house on the market on July 1st, the fact of the matter is they probably would have accepted an offer in the middle of June if someone approached them because they were in the middle of planning to list their home. Another point to consider is think about how every listing you've had is a trigger event for other listings in the neighborhood. Every time a for sale sign goes up in a neighborhood, sure enough, within a week or two, even the next month, you'll start seeing more homes pop up around that listing in the same neighborhood. That's what I mean by shadow inventory. These are sellers that are on the fence, getting ready to sell. Maybe they're waiting to see what happens with interest rates. How do we target those people and get them into our pocket and into our inventory before it hits the market? That's what I mean by shadow inventory. So for today, I'm going to give you 4 different approaches to approach those sellers that are waiting to get ready so you can capture them as your future business. Now, before we get into that, make sure you guys are hitting the like bell and smash that subscribe button below so you guys can catch our new content every single week here on the channel. Okay, approach number 1 is door knocking around your open houses. We already know that there's sellers on the fence waiting to list. They're going to wait and see how that listing is going to perform. What's the best way to get in front of them and capture them before they can get on the market with another agent? Number 1 is door knocking around your open houses. The simplest approach to this would be to pick 10 or 20 homes around your open house event and door knock them, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before the weekend comes. It's a lot more warmer and friendlier of an interaction if you're just giving them a heads up about the open house event, making sure they know they're invited, and letting know that they can reach out to you if they're ever unhappy about anything over the course of the weekend. It presents a whole opportunity to talk about them, about what's going on with them, and see if you can offer them any help too. Remember, sellers are thinking about selling their house months before they actually go on the market. They're going to watch that listing to see how it performs. They're going to want to know how their home compares to it. The best way for you to get in front of them early is to tie them into that open house. So you can approach the shadow inventory around any listing before it hits that market by just door knocking those people and letting them know about your open house event, getting their contact information, and staying in touch with them forever. Shadow inventory approach number 2 is old-fashioned circle prospecting. But again, we know that every listing is a trigger listing. Door knocking around the immediate neighbors is fantastic for maybe 10 or 20 homes around that listing. But what about that actual neighborhood or that subdivision? Agents that take the time to reach out to the neighbors in the immediate neighborhood just to let them know about the activity in the neighborhood or the open house for that matter, but doing it over the phone, you can be much more efficient at dialing around a listing. You can talk to way more people per hour and just let them know about what's going on. And it can be a just listed, it can be a just sold, but if you want to be really powerful, reach out and circle prospect around a new escrow. Think of it this way. Just letting them know the home is for sale, they probably already know because they saw the for sale sign. Letting them know it closed, well, it's kind of a little too late then there, but no one is reaching out to let them know about a new escrow. Think about that conversation, right? Hey, listen, just want to let you know that that home around the corner from you, it just went into escrow. They did have a couple of buyers. A few other buyers are still looking in the neighborhood. Is there anything I can do for you? Do you know of any other neighbors that might need help? It's a fantastic way to tap into that kind of hidden shadow inventory of people that are watching a few blocks away, maybe not on that actual street, and just let them know about what's going on and get yourself in front of them to offer them help to be their agent when they're ready to list shortly too. All right, approach number 3 for getting shadow inventory is geographical farming, good old-fashioned farming. Listen, geographical farming is the number 1 way to be top of mind in front of the property owners who own the properties you want to sell. We already know that these sellers are thinking about selling for months ahead of time. You already want to be the agent that they think of when that time comes. The best way to do that is to work a neighborhood or a farm. All farming is an organizational way to stay on top of and create relationships with the people that own the type of properties you want to sell. That can be your own neighborhood, your favorite home type or property type, it doesn't matter. It's a way of organizing a group of homeowners or property owners and creating relationships with them. So the agent who already has a relationship with a neighborhood or a property type will be the first person they call when they are ready to sell. So the number one way you can be on top of that shadow inventory is to already be present in that neighborhood through geographic farming. Now, method number 4, I saved my favorite for last. That is reaching out to old expireds. Now, expireds are a fantastic way in general to generate business. That's low-hanging fruit. These are people that have already raised their hand and been on the market. But we all know that prospecting to expired listings is a bit of a process, right? They're getting a lot of phone calls the day they expire. Agents are knocking on their door. They're getting a lot of activity the first time they come off the market. But after that, it drops off. So anytime you guys have a listing or host an open house or see a listing pop up in a neighborhood you want to work in, you should always take the time to research old expireds that never relisted. Personally, I think the sweet spot is to look at homes that expired between 1 to 3 years ago. So when you run your search, start at 365 days, go back to like 1095. That'll give you a good 3-year window. Double check and make sure that they haven't relisted. And if they haven't, you should be reaching out to them around these listings. Those are people that might have been off the market because they couldn't get the price they wanted. Maybe they didn't get the outcome they had the first time around, but we know that prices are constantly changing. We know that the market is always evolving. And who knows, maybe now the conditions are just right for them to get back on the market and get on to their next place where they wanted to go. So as a habit when you're trying to capture shadow inventory, or just as a general habit as a real estate professional, you should always be reaching out to old expireds around your listings. You never know. They will eventually sell. They always had a good reason to sell. Just reach out to them, see what happened, and see if they are still interested in selling their home for the right price. Okay guys, there you have it. That's my 4 favorite ways to target shadow inventory. Remember, there is tons of opportunity regardless of the market conditions. No matter what's going on in the real estate market, closings happen every day and there is someone making money in every economy. So by following these techniques, if you guys are diligent and constantly reaching out to people and offering to help them out, especially those sellers that are on the fence waiting to see what happens, you guys can stack tons of inventory regardless of the market conditions. So again, if you like what you see here, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button, ring that bell, and make sure you catch us every single week for our new content. Good luck, you guys.